They thought he was just another black man they could bully into silence inside the cold walls of a police station. But they didn't know he wasn't just a citizen. He was the reckoning the entire precinct had been dreading. When one officer's fist flew, he didn't just break the law. He shattered the blue wall of silence and exposed a rot so deep it threatened to consume the whole city. Tell me in the comments what city you're watching this from, and stay locked in until the very end. The ending will restore your faith in justice. The 23rd precinct in the city of Portside smelled of stale coffee and bureaucratic indifference. Elijah Vance sat patiently, testing the station's response by attempting to file a fictitious missing persons report. The results were alarming. He watched Officer Thomas Flynn, a man with a permanent sneer, prioritize others, all fair-skinned, while treating Elijah with lazy arrogance. When Elijah finally approached the desk for the third time, Flynn barely looked up. "Still here," Flynn grunted. Elijah, calm and even-toned, simply asked for an update, mentioning the 48-hour procedure guideline. Flynn, whose face flushed an angry red, stood up and loomed over the counter. "The procedure is you shut your mouth and sit down until I call you. You people always think you know everything." Elijah held his ground. "I'm just a citizen asking for help. Is asking a question a crime now?" Flynn's control snapped. He stormed around the barrier, his heavy boots sounding like war drums. The desk sergeant, Sergeant Diaz, warned him, "Flynn, cool it," but it was too late. Flynn poked a thick finger into Elijah's chest. "You're disrupting my precinct." Elijah stood still, his hands open, a portrait of de-escalation, but his calm was seen as defiance. Flynn roared, and his short, brutal jab connected with Elijah's jaw with a sickening crack. Elijah stumbled back, the metallic taste of blood filling his mouth. Flynn stood triumphant, but he hadn't just punched a citizen. He had punched the commissioner of police. The precinct froze. Sergeant Diaz yelled, "Flynn, Jesus Christ, what did you do?" Flynn, however, was satisfied. Elijah pushed himself off the wall. He did not look at Flynn. Instead, he reached into his jacket and slowly, deliberately, pulled out a slim leather wallet. He flipped it open, revealing a large, ornate gold badge engraved with the words, "Police Commissioner." "You were saying, Officer Flynn?" Elijah's voice was quiet, stripped of anger, carrying only chilling, absolute authority. The sneer on Flynn's face collapsed. The color drained away, leaving him sickly white. Sergeant Diaz stumbled forward, recognizing the face of the new reform commissioner who was supposed to start next week, Elijah Vance. "Officer Flynn," Elijah commanded, "you are relieved of duty, effective immediately. Hand your weapon and your badge to Sergeant Diaz. You will be placed on administrative leave pending a full investigation into assault, battery, and violation of civil rights." He ordered Officer Chun to secure the lobby and take statements from every civilian witness. He then turned to Sergeant Diaz. "When you're done processing Flynn, I want you to pull every incident report he has filed in the last 5 years, every use of force complaint, and I want the log for his body camera from this shift. I want it all on my desk in 1 hour." The blue wall had met its battering ram. In a cramped back office, Elijah reviewed the mountain of files Diaz compiled. Flynn's history was a dark pattern. A dozen use of force complaints against minority men, all dismissed. This department kept signing his paychecks, Elijah said. Diaz mentioned the union and Captain Mendez protecting Flynn. Then came the body camera log. It showed a glaring anomaly. 3 minutes after the punch, the entry read, "Red error, unit malfunction, data corrupt." A malfunction, Elijah stated, his words dripping with ice. "How convenient." Diaz stammered, denying knowledge, but her eyes betrayed the truth. Elijah warned her. "This investigation is no longer just about Officer Flynn. It's about a culture that manufactures malfunctions to bury the truth. You can stand with the truth, or you can stand behind that wall with Flynn. There is no in-between." Just then, Detective Marcus from Internal Affairs arrived, the mayor's appointed investigator. "I hear you've been redecorating," Marcus noted grimly. Elijah handed him the log. "We were just about to discuss a ghost in the machine." The conversation was interrupted by Vincent Rhodes, the powerful union president, who stormed in, calling the incident an unfortunate misunderstanding. "Your man assaulted me in my own precinct, Mr. Rhodes," Elijah countered. Rhodes laughed dismissively, proposing an apology and anger management. Marcus cut in, detailing the charges: assault and obstruction of justice for camera tampering. Rhodes threatened war. "We'll paint a picture of an overzealous new commissioner." We'll question your motives, your methods, your history. Rhodes declared that the Union would fight to the bitter end. Every shield has a weak point. Marcus, Elijah said after Rhodes left. I want the tech department to get that body camera. I want to know what it saw. Elijah knew Rhodes was already twisting the narrative in the press, having also used Sergeant Diaz's name to change the official report to a lie of defensive reaction. Elijah visited Diaz at her home that evening. They changed your report, Sergeant. Elijah stated quietly. They use your name to legitimize a lie. He saw her despair. They're already destroying you. Tell me the truth about that body camera. Diaz confessed. It did malfunction. Flynn, panicking, had used a hidden diagnostic tool, a quarantined encrypted server, to bury the footage. It was a backdoor built for the Union. Rhodes showed us how, she whispered. So the footage isn't gone. It's just hidden. Elijah realized. He told her sworn testimony detailing the conspiracy would unlock that server. He offered his hand. You'll be standing on the right side of the law, and you won't be standing there alone. Diaz shook his hand, pulling the first brick from the wall of silence. With Diaz's affidavit, Elijah and Marcus secured a search warrant to raid the Union headquarters. Marcus's IA tech team bypassed the Union's lawyers and seized the server. After hours of decryption, the specialist looked up. I've got it. The quarantine partition. The file is here. The next morning, at the disciplinary hearing, Rhodes and Flynn sat smugly before the review board. Rhodes built his defense on the defensive shove narrative, relying on the doctored report. Elijah let them finish, then turned to face them. You've built a story that relies on ambiguity, he said. But the best way to settle a dispute about what happened is simply to watch it. He aimed a remote at a large monitor. They managed to recover the corrupted data from your body camera. Let's call it the unblinking eye. The screen flickered to life. The video, raw and unedited, was devastating. It showed Elijah's non-aggression, Flynn's escalating rage, and the brutal, unprovoked punch. The board gasped. Then the video continued, capturing the final, soul-crushing blow, Flynn whispering to Diaz, "We gotta bury this." The camera saw it all. Use the flag. The malfunction flag. Rhodes showed us how. The unblinking eye had shown the assault, the cover-up, and the conspiracy, implicating Rhodes himself. The chairman of the review board banged his gavel. Effective immediately, Thomas Flynn is terminated for gross misconduct, felony assault, and obstruction of justice. Furthermore, this board is opening a formal investigation into the practices of the police union itself, starting with Mr. Vincent Rhodes. The blue wall was leveled. Flynn was convicted of felony assault, trading his uniform for a prison jumpsuit. Rhodes resigned in disgrace. Elijah Vance, the commissioner, went on to implement the Donovan Protocol, body camera footage uploaded to independent civilian servers, and a new duty to intervene policy, officially criminalizing the blue wall of silence. The 23rd precinct doesn't smell of stale coffee anymore. It smells of fresh paint and new beginnings. Justice is not a destination. It's a daily practice. And here, in the quiet hum of the precinct, that practice has finally begun. Now, I have to ask you, if you were in Commissioner Vance's shoes, would you have exposed the rot knowing it could tear the department apart? Or is there another way? And what do you think is the single most important step to building trust between a community and its police force? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to see that change is possible, and subscribe for more stories that matter.